Yes, people, welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. I hope you're well. Big up to everyone. Make sure you smash a like on this stream right now for me. Whether you're watching live or on replay, it really helps me out. Big up to everyone who's been commenting again in the live stream and those of you who've done it on the replay. I do see you. I do try and appreciate you. And I do try and comment on what you've done. So big up to you guys. And of course, let's get into today's news on Aston Villa Football Club. We are on Wednesday, midweek, 2 days, shall I say, till we play Spurs on Friday at Villa Park, and we're going to be touching on that tomorrow. But for today, Kaine, Kesler, Hayden. Oh, yes. I smell PSR, people. We may have cracked it. We may have another transfer going through. And Aston Villa are really going to push a big fee for this one. When I talk about big fee, I'm talking about a player of Kaine, Kesler, Hayden's stature, qualities, that we may actually get around 5 to 10 million for him. And we're going to talk a little bit more on that. And it's actually the fact that the chairman of the club that he was on loan at basically spilled the beans on the news of Kaine, Kesler, Hayden. So we'll get into that one. We're also going to talk about the fact that Tim Sherwood, yes, the mighty gilet wearer, and the guy who took Villa to an FA Cup final, so you have to respect that. He has come out and said, this is not banter, this is not clickbait, Aston Villa should be challenging for a Premier League title next season. Do you believe like Tim Sherwood does? I mean, we're going to get into some of those comments. There's also news on a more Tyrone Mings situation that I'm going to update you on. More news as well on another centre-back that we've been linked to and much more as well. So big up to everyone. But yeah, big up to George. Big up to Mustafa. Dino's in the house. Collison. Meeks is apologising for missing the stream yesterday. No worries. Big up to Darwin. Said evening Villa crew. Big up to you guys. And big up to Rachel as well. Evening. And Black Country Villain in the house. Look, listen. Big up to all of you guys. I'm live 7:30. As I said, my time's been all over the place the last week or so, not being consistent with the slots, but we're here ready to rock and roll, so I do appreciate it all. And if you could check, if you hit that thumbs up button, that would be greatly appreciated. But let's get into Kaine, Kesler, Hayden then straight away, because this news broke and I was just like, okay, I like this, but is this what I would say a Cameron Archer 2.0? A 2.0, a Cameron Archer 2.0. Here it is. Kaine, Kesler, Hayden and Aston Villa are set to seek a permanent move. The next step for him is to join a high-end championship side or a lower-end Premier League team. Interest has already been received. Now, Villa fans, neutral fans, whoever you are a fan of, if you're a Preston North End fan as well, thoughts on Kaine, Kesler, Hayden? Well, why is Kaine, Kesler, Hayden being hyped up and spoken about a lot? It's basically, I'm actually wrong. It's not Cameron Archer 2.0. It's Jaden Philogene 2.0. And what do I mean by that? Well, we all know that Jaden Philogene last season had a stormer for Hull City in the Championship. He even scored one of those quality goals in which was nominated for the Puskas Award. And basically, Philogene was the next big project, and everyone was like there. And Villa went, do you know what? We've made a mistake. Let's go get him. Kaine, Kesler, Hayden, once again, goes out on loan the season before, comes back to Villa, plays pre-season. Maybe he's going to make it a right back. Maybe there's a chance for him. Then goes back out on loan. The thing with Kaine, Kesler, Hayden's situation is this. A lot of Villa fans will sit here now in the chat, and if you're watching on replay as well, and you'll tell me, Villa are crying out for a right back. We're crying out for an upgrade on Matty Cash, who, by the way, now is in my redemption crew after that goal-saving block against Bournemouth. We won't be having a bad word about Matty Cash this week on the channel. Yes, football fans are fickle. Yes, hands up. But, yeah, listen. Right back. Kostan Ajolkovic, failure, in my opinion. Hasn't worked out. Simply has not worked out. Garcia, who knows? Kesler Hayden, people would be telling me, get this guy in, give him an opportunity. I'm going to be honest. Villa are starting to learn. Because he has been linked, as I said, to a lower-end Premier League team or a Championship team. Now, the question I'm going to ask you guys is, where could you see a move for Kaine, Kesler, Hayden, and how much would you like for him? Big up everyone in the chat. Bigging up Lee, he's been on Call of Duty. Love that. Big up to Bob Driscoll, says, yup, the Villa boys. Big up to you. Big up to D as well. And Karen Rance as well. If we hadn't had a crappy start to the season, we'd be right up there challenging. It's true. And there's so much to talk about in that. And the transfers are a big part of our start to the crappy season, which is why I'm going to talk about this Kesler Hayden situation. There should not be a Villa fan here right now who says, give this guy a chance. Because you need to learn from your lessons. Giving Kaine Kesler Hayden a chance, an opportunity, is just going to be another waste of a half a season. And this is why this news is interesting. Because the Preston North End CEO, who of course was where Kaine Kesler Hayden spent his time in the Championship half season, said, Kaine Kesler Hayden, he has won all the awards for Player of the Year, and I'm told that he's unlikely to step Aston Villa, and they will command a very big transfer fee for him. So he's given it away a little bit. That basically these lower end Championship teams aren't able to pay the money for Kaine Kesler Hayden. Basically, Preston North End, if they want Kaine Kesler Hayden, cannot get Kaine Kesler Hayden simply because he is too expensive. Now, with that in mind, and the fact that he has done a clean sweep of the Players Award, we've got to be looking, as that last article reported by Jacob Tanswell says, lower Premier League sides. Now, a newly promoted Premier League team, Leeds United, for example, is a destination where I could see Kaine Kesler Hayden. I simply feel that this guy, Kaine Kesler Hayden, is a player in which we could get 5 million for, or maybe even push and rip someone off for £10 million. Now, AVFC85 says anywhere offers the most cash is absolutely true. And let's not be stupid here. This is absolutely a must in terms of cash money. Take the cash from Leeds and run. Now, I don't want us to all be sat here and go, but imagine if he goes and plays for Leeds and does so well. Where we are trying to go as a football club, which is to, as Tim Sherwood is sort of alluding to, try and win stuff and challenge. Kaine Kesler Hayden, he simply isn't the answer. He simply isn't the answer. And I hate to say that. About young upcoming players, young players. But when we've looked at Villa failures of youngsters who simply haven't cut the mustard, we could go. There's a whole list. And feel free in the chat to add anyone on maybe missed out. But you've got Cameron Archer. Villa fans have hoped, have prayed, have said, give him a chance. It failed. When we gave Archer a chance, it simply didn't work. He really looked really lonely as a number 9 in Claret and Blue. You've got Tim Irigmanam. Now, hard one for Tim because he's gone to another Premier League club in Everton, was part of the sort of PSR situation. But Tim really was never going to break into that Aston Villa midfield. You've got Jaden Philogene. Now, I think this is a great comment for AVSC85. We got 20 million for Philogene, so anything is possible. And let's be honest. Let's be honest as well. You know, Ipswich Town, who on the cards when they bought him would have probably been a relegation sort of certainty. To spend 20 million on a player like Philogene is a massive risk, and he hasn't given them those returns. So you got Philogene. There was another one I had. Archer, Irigmanam, Philogene, and it will come to me. But you can also add the loanies of the likes of Costin and Djokovic, as I said. And I'll even throw another one in there for you, chat, right now. Bogard. Another one in which Villa fans are prying for, saying, give him a chance, give him an opportunity. It's not happening. And I've always said this. In the season, Chukwuemeka's another brilliant one. O'Hare is another good one as well. It was 2 seasons ago where Aston Villa were down to the bare bones near the end of the season. And if you can remember, we were naming kids on the bench. And the only 2 subs that were coming on were Duran and Irigmanam. And you had the likes of Kesler Hayden. You had the likes of Philogene sat on the bench not getting minutes. And I think I actually tweeted at the time something along the lines of, if you can't get a game for Aston Villa now, you're never going to get a game for Villa. And I remember that. It was 2 seasons ago in the running. Can you remember our bench, guys? Can you remember our bench 2 years ago in the final stretch of the season where we had so many injuries and we literally had nobodies on the bench? We were like naming 3 goalkeepers at one stage, I swear. And it was just a mess. But only John Duran and Irigmanam were coming on the bench and minutes were being absolutely stretched. And if anyone can try and find me an example or have a quick look online of that bench, and so be it. But I'm pretty sure Kesler Hayden was part of that squad and part of that bench. And we've recalled this guy many of times from loans. And there was a whole kerfuffle about Kesler Hayden. We cut him short at Plymouth. And we basically turned around and said, no, he's going to have a chance to play. We actually said, there's quotes out there from Unai Emery and Aston Villa saying, Kesler Hayden's going to have a chance. The reason why we've cut his loan short is because he's got a chance of getting minutes. It's not happened. It's not happened at all. In fact, we actually did a disservice by keeping him on the bench. So look, to round up the Kesler Hayden story, quite simply, Kaine Kesler Hayden, we are selling him on a permanent. When you want to talk about PSR and the incentive of that, we should be really good to get a 5-10 million sort of hijack on that one. So let's see what happens on that. But yeah, so that's the Kesler Hayden comments. Now, let's go to Mr. Tim Sherwood, because I've got to get these comments. Now, Tim Sherwood, look, Tim Sherwood, whether you like him or hate him, he's got... Sorry, I missed the comment here from Rachel on Kesler Hayden. Good for Kaine Kesler Hayden. If he does well, also shows how good our academy system is. Look, someone made a good point the other day about our academy. Winning the under-18s FA Youth Cup and winning... And competing on all fronts and winning silverware at under-18s level is a massive testimony to where we're building. Now, there'll be a lot of players in that under-18 squad who will simply not make it in Aston Villa first team. But what they will do is generate money for us. If that's a transfer, if that's a loan, if that's an influence, it is generating interest. And that's why we have to say under-18s, keep winning and think of the bigger picture. Rachel said, I disagree on Bogard due to his improvement in Emery this season, and he stepped up when he's needed. Now, listen, I'm going to say this right now. I 100% like Bogard. But Unai Emery is not including him in Premier League matchday squads. Unai Emery is not using Bogard, and he is very much down the pecking order. Now, anyone in the chat, do you genuinely, now I'll be honest here, do you genuinely believe Bogard makes the matchday squad next season in our best 15-16? Does Bogard even get a look in? And what position are you even playing him? Because some people are telling me he's a defensive midfielder. Some people are saying he's a centre-back. Some people are saying he's a versatile fullback. When it comes to Bogard, he's going to be looking at his development. And quite frankly, though he's young, if he's going to get first-team football in, for example, the Eredivisie and playing the Dutch league, then he's going to go there. He's going to go there. If he's genuinely not making matchday squads at Aston Villa, why are we keeping hold of him? So although he's young, we either have to loan him out and then see what happens. But again, we talk about loaning players out. If we're talking about DM, as some of you are saying, well, you go through this. We've got Kamara, we've got Tillemans, we've got Onana, we've got Barkley, we've got McGinn, all for that double pivot. And what we're forgetting is we've got Enzo, Chair, even though it looks like he wants to stay at Valencia. So we've got 7 people in that double pivot. We don't need 7 double pivot players. But second of all, as some of you alluding to, we've had the rumours of Yuri Tillemans to Saudi Arabia. We've had the rumours of Kamara potentially not signing the thing and waiting till see if we get Champions League. Well, and the more I look at this, if we don't get Champions League, Kamara's not signing, is he? Let's be honest, he's not signing that contract extension. So in terms of the double pivot, we're absolutely stacked in there. Bogard has to at least be knocking on the door above a Ross Barkley soon. That's where it needs. So a loan deal is the only suitable thing. But if we've got a Dutch club right now going 15 million, Bogard, I'm going, thank you very much. And that is the state of affairs where we're at in terms of player transfers. What we aren't, chat, is in a position to go, let's keep hold of them and see for another season. If the money's there, the money's there. 20 million for Philogene is exactly that. He's had a rough half of the season for us, and we need to cash in on this guy. So we have to make the most of these opportunities. And I think Bogard, Kesler Hayden are 2 players I'm cashing in to generate the money, to help us with PSR, to stop us losing a big gun. And Emi Buendia with the Dendonka, you top it all up and it starts to look better, doesn't it? But yeah, Darwin says, Bogard okay to keep for cup games as a squad member, but I'm sure he'll loan out. But we have a packed squad already, and there's going to be a point, where the squad's, dare I say, overcrowded. If you're a first teamer and you want to play football and you can't make the matchday squad, then there's issues, isn't there? But yeah, prefer him as a DM to Onana, agree. Rich says, Connor says, how long is Kamara signed for at the moment? I believe his contract runs out next season. Am I right in thinking that, chat? Or was it 2027? Still got a bit on it. But the contract extension is basically to say, Kamara, secure your future with us, please. We don't want to lose you. So there we go. But moving on. And before I move on to Tim Sherwood news, big up to you. Got almost 60 of you in. Make sure you smash the like button for me. And really appreciate all the comments in the chat. I really do. I love seeing your responses. And as I said, you're massively helping the channel grow. And we really are appreciative of that. What about Lewis Dobbin? Listen, Lewis Dobbin's a joke. I'll be honest, Lewis Dobbin's not even worth the airtime. He was a pointless PSR sign-in who he loaned out. He absolutely flopped at the baggies, went to Norwich and did average. No one's really excited about Lewis Dobbin, and he'll never play for Villa in the Premier League. That's all I need to say on Lewis Dobbin. If Lewis Dobbin plays for Villa in the Premier League, I'll delete the channel. That's how confident I am. There'll be someone out there going, please play in the Premier League, please, so we can get rid of this guy. Please, please, please. He can delete his channel. I can feel that. But right, let's go on to the £7.50 for Dobbin. Would be lucky. And a Tesco meal deal on that one. Right, let's get on to Tim Sherwood. Right, these quotes aren't as exciting as the next one, but look, Tim Sherwood, he finds himself in and about Sky Sports these days, a little bit of talk sport. You know, he's a bit basically helpless in finding a job in the management side of things. I don't think he wants to go into management again. But I got to respect it. An ex-Villa manager not throwing Villa under the bus and being respectful. Why do I say that? Because Paul Lambert is a shameless, horrible Scotsman who all he does is just try and slate Aston Villa as much as he can about his time there, saying he was relieved when he got sacked. You don't get Alex McLeish saying great stuff about us either. I get it. You have bad ownership, X, Y, and Z, but at least be, credible and respectful when you talk about our great club. It'd be interesting if Steven Gerrard ever comes out and opens his mouth or not, especially as he came from our current ownership. But this is what Mr. Tim Sherwood says. He says, Unai Emery has gone into that football club and he transformed it instantly. He has earned the right from the hierarchy to get the money and almost the keys to the club to run it how he wants. That's exactly what he's doing. Now, I love that. I love that Unai Emery is getting, again, credit from an ex-Villa manager, Tim Sherwood, basically saying that he's earned the right to have all this money thrown at him and he's got the keys to the club. We've all said that basically Unai Emery owns Aston Villa Football Club. We know Nassi Suarez and Wes Eden's technically other people behind the scenes, but we know that Unai Emery has the keys. His word basically goes, right? Monchi and him basically call the shots. The owners let him get to it. And Unai, to every small detail from the training ground to the pitch, is in control. And Tim Sherwood is saying, this guy deserves it. And I always say this, and you won't believe me here, chat. You won't believe me when I say this. But there are so many salty, bitter Arsenal fans about Unai Emery. There are so many neutrals who turn their nose up at Unai Emery. And they have this sort of sense of, he's an overthinker. He can't multitask. Can't win a trophy in England. Bottled it with Arsenal. X, Y, and Z. I am desperate for Unai Emery to win a piece of silverware of Aston Villa because it will shut all them people up. I'm desperate for him to get rid of that curse of not winning a trophy for an English side. And there's no better time, and we're progressing to that. And that's why I've got to say next season's got to be the one. But let's go on to Tim Sherwood's comments. Big up to Jeffrey said, Paul Lambert was an awful manager, spent 20 million on Benty and never started him. Waste of space, Lambert. He really was. Big up to Lee said, 70 people hit the likes, agree. My dad's just said, just got home. AVFC said, to be fair, Villa Park was a pretty toxic place. Kevin said, Bailey is a potential sell, injury prone. And yeah, look, we're going to get into the Leon Bailey, the Jacob Ramseys, the Yuri Tillemans, the Kamaras, probably very soon. I can imagine that the thing is with Leon Bailey is we haven't heard any noise about Bailey apart from he was thrown into the same bracket as Emi Martinez for Saudi Arabia. But there we go. Right, I don't want to lose my flow on nearly said Lambert. Sherwood. I'm getting all my ex-Villa managers. There we go. See, I've lost my flow now. I'm getting all my ex-Villa managers stuck, aren't I? Right, here we go then. And now this is not clickbait. My thumbnail title, I promise you, a direct quote. I genuinely want to know all your thoughts, feelings, and emotions around this. Tim Sherwood, you can't rule out Aston Villa competing for the Premier League title next season. You can't rule it out with Unai Emery in charge. You've got Monchi there, the sporting director, who's one of his men as well. Damn. Now, either Tim Sherwood's being paid for PR, or this guy actually believes in Villa, the project, and Unai Emery. But he actually says he can't rule out Aston Villa competing for the Premier League title next season. Now, I'm going to put anyone in the chat on the spot. Is there anyone in the chat who also believes that? Is there anyone in the chat who actually sits back and goes, do you know what? In the current climate of things, why can't Villa compete for a Premier League title? Why can't we? Why can't we? I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate. You got Liverpool, Varney Slot, who've got to go defend the trophy for a second season. Never easy. Always pressure to defend it. You got Manchester City. Who knows what you get with Manchester City? Who knows? What is Man City next season? Is it 1-1-5? Is it Pep Guardiola at the helm or not? Is it a crisis? You got Arsenal, who just finished third in a two-horse race. They're going to finish third in a two-horse race. I actually get that sense. You know, that's how bad Arsenal are. Lego Head has the ineptness to cross the line when it matters. He will never win the Premier League. You got Tottenham, Dusty, United, Ruben Amorim. I'll give him a bit of credit. I think he might do something at United next season. But are we ever going to get to that stage where Aston Villa are challenging for a Premier League title? Well, I'm going to see what you guys get your thoughts in the comments. I'm going to give my thoughts. First of all, Tim Sherwood. Big up to you, my guy. Ex-Villa manager, talking with chess. We know he enjoyed his time at Villa, and fair play to him. We've got to respect it. But we've got to put a bit of perspective into this. Aston Villa will need to go and have a crazy summer transfer window, and I think we're going to have one. I think we're going to see players leave and players go. The thing that killed Villa, Meeks mentioned it in the chat earlier, was our start of the season. Too many draws at a key period of time, and our start of the season was poor. I put that down, and I'm going to put it down to the summer transfer window. I really want to put it down to that chat. The more I thought about it, the summer transfer window has cost us potentially a comfortable top 4 finish. Our summer transfer window was diabolical. It was PSR hell. We've sent people like Illing Jr., Baranchea, Dobbin, who are transfer signings on loan. We had the whole John Duran West Ham saga. We basically had Ian Matson come in and doesn't really play at the start. And in the end, you look back and go, what the hell is this? Oh, we took Ross Barkley early, but again, it was Ross Barkley, an ex-player, small business. Honestly, the summer transfer window was a mess. And that's why Villa have to learn from last summer. We have to learn from last summer and get the PSR crap done early. If you're going to do your dodgy dealings, get it done early, but make sure you've got the real dealings coming in the summer. I think we've also got to learn about squad depth. Oh, Philogene, we relied on Philogene to be the backup to Bailey. You know, we have to learn from last summer. Get the depth right, get the recruitment right. If we have to lose a player, make sure you get a replacement in and a good enough replacement. So, Villa, for me, could have comfortably finished top 3, top 4 this season if we didn't have such a crap summer transfer window. Now, in terms of challenging for the Premier League next season, Villa on that progression, I think we have to finish 5th this season. We have to get in that Champions League spot to keep on the trajectory. And then, why not? Why not challenge? Why are we not thinking like Tim Sherwood? Why are we not? And some people go, just concentrate on qualifying for the Champions League. Now, for me, if we miss out on the Champions League this season, then we simply cannot be sat here having Villa can challenge for the Premier League next season. We simply can't have those conversations. Because if I was an outsider of an Aston Villa fan, I would turn around and go, you need to concentrate on qualifying like successively for the Champions League. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right, we do. We need to concentrate on being consistent on qualifying for the Champions League. So give me Champions League qualification, and the next step is, right, 2 seasons in a row, we qualify for Champions League. 3rd season, which would be next, let's start putting a title charge on. Now, as you can see, Sherwood is not saying Villa should be winning it. He's not saying go win it, but he's simply saying you can't rule us out for competing. And that word competing. Now, Villa fans, we're in a fortunate position that we're sat here and we have an incredible manager, Unai Emery, and incredible owners who are making us believe in these conversations, who are making us think that we have to aim and dream big. And I believe the objective for Unai Emery is to win one of these competitions, is to win a cup and challenge for that Premier League. So, yeah, unbelievable. So let's see what happens. But yeah, look, Darwin has said next season is very possible depending on transfer business. They might, if they buy an actual striker instead of, that's very true on Villa. Legard is just chasing Man City. I think next year will be too early. Need to work on the consistency and ruthlessness against all teams. Not managed that yet for the last 2 seasons, especially if you look at our start. So last season was how we ended the season. Sort of, we had that terrible patch. This season's been our start. And that's where we've got to turn it around. After seeing the end of the last 2 seasons, I think next season up for grabs is anyone's top 6, and Villa keep improving. If everyone is as inconsistent as this season, I say we can definitely compete. I like it, guys. I like that we're believing in there. Kaine Jonathan said, Josh, we can have... you're going to have... Newcastle have got Champions League in the bag, and I've always said they would. Do you know what, as well? I've been banging the drum for 2-3 months. Been banging the drum all season. I've said it, and you can check me on Never a Foul. Before the ball was kicked, I said Villa will finish above Chelsea for 3 seasons in a row. If we do that, it's really impressive. I've always said that it's going to be Chelsea and I always said we'd finish above Chelsea, and that's why we're going to get 5th. So there we go. Though Champions League is preferred, a Europa League is okay, and another bite of the Champions League will win it, of which I believe would have a great chance, says Kevin. And yeah, I think we're more likely to win the Champions League if we qualify than the Prem. And look, it's absolutely magical that we're having these conversations. So there we go. Kevin says no Newcastle. I think Newcastle for me are Champions League bound. I think they're going to beat Arsenal. By the way, at the Emirates, Arsenal are absolutely shambolic. Arsenal on the beach. Arsenal are dead and buried in my eyes. So yeah, on that one. So big up Tim Sherwood. I used to think he was an interesting character, but he's definitely gone up in my sort of opinion on that one. Now, quick one again. I'm not going to cover this one too much, but there's been a transfer news and story from Marca today about another centre-back. Villa are very keen on a centre-back, guys, which gets me thinking why. I wouldn't say centre-back is, well, it is really, because we've never replaced Diego Carlos. So I need to shut up, really. I think it is basically to find the answer to Diego Carlos, because our answer to Diego Carlos was Axel Disasi on loan. Now, clearly, we're not going to get Axel Disasi back on a permanent. I really hope we don't anyway. But interesting here, the representatives of Christian Mosquera met with Valencia regarding his future. With his contract expiring in 2026 and renewal unlikely, offers are expected to arrive, and the club wanted to make it clear that the offer has to be above 15 to 18 million. Now, again, 15 to 18 million on a centre-back, with probably a release clause around that much. Again, we know in Spain they love their release clauses. Is something that Villa will aim. I don't know now if it's going to become lazy journalism because of Monchi and going to Spain, that every centre-back in a mid to good tier Spanish side, Sevilla, Espanyol, Valencia, Sociedad, that we're going to be linked to because of Monchi. Or, maybe there is something to this, but basically they don't want to let Christian Mosquera go on a free so that he is up for grabs. Villa are in for a centre-back. We can't play next season with just Pau Torres, with Tyrone Mings and Ezri Konsa. We need depth. Looks like we're going to Spain. We keep getting linked to centre-backs who play in Spain, so let's see what happens. But yeah, that Man City game is absolutely massive. Big up at the Villa as well, who's just joined the chat. And guys, we've got nearly 75 of you in here. Keep smashing the like button for me. Can we get 40 likes on the stream. That would be the aim for me, please. Talking of Pau Torres then, some weird ass stuff came out about Pau Torres, and I don't know how I feel about this. But if you're Tyrone Mings and Ezri Konsa, you're going to be looking at it as a little bit of a weird one. I don't know if you guys saw this story reported by Jacob Tanswell. Have a look at this. Even before Pau Torres joined, Unai Emery's staff would use clips of him as an example to Aston Villa defenders to show what they wanted from them in possession. Thoughts on that? Thoughts on that, people? Thoughts on that? Let's just take that in for a second. Pau Torres being used as an example of how to play from the back for Aston Villa defenders. Unai Emery is not dropping Pau Torres. When I saw that story, I was like, no wonder Tyrone Mings can't get a game. No wonder Mingsy can't get a game. Pau Torres has been absolutely glazed for his on-the-ball stuff. And so what that also tells me is what Unai Emery looks for in a defender. What Unai Emery looks for in a centre-back is not about the defensive capabilities and qualities, but clearly what they do in possession. And that, for me, is interesting because Unai Emery clearly is maybe saying to Tyrone Mings that is an area of weakness that Mings needs to build. Now, I'll be honest. I'm a big fan of Tyrone Mings getting the ball at his feet, and when he clips it into the front man or clips it down the channel, I'm a bit like, yes, Mingsy. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Clip it down the channel. Play to your game. Clearly, what Pau Torres does and what we do is watch him is that Pau holds on to that ball. He plays those risky passes into the DM or the centre-back. He likes to play in tight areas. He likes to punch the ball through to break lines of his own. But also, he likes to step in. Hence why a lot of people go, oh, Pau Torres could be a defensive midfielder because of how comfortable he is in stepping into the midfield. But using footage of Pau before he's even arrived to the club is a massive, by the way, compliment to Pau Torres. But it's maybe a little bit of a, I wouldn't be happy if I was Mings and Konsa and Diego Carlos at the time and being compared to this guy and he waltzes up and like, we know how you play because we've watched videos of you. So, interesting. We criticise Pau, but statistically this season we concede less of him in the team. Is that true? I would say it's Mings, isn't it? From what I said, the Villa have never lost with Tyrone Mings in the side this season. But yeah, Mings is obviously the better defender, as Kevin is saying. But yeah, that's interesting on Pau there. But yeah, so I found that story quite interesting on there. Okay, the last one then. Donyell Malen is being spoken about. Now, I can't remember a time. I can't remember a time where a player has been spoken about so much by the manager as a January signing to try and justify a player. I've never seen this situation before. Once again on Sky Sports, Unai Emery on Donyell Malen. Malen is a very good professional. He is understanding. He did not sign here for 6 months. He signed to be here, hopefully, for a long time. He is performing fantastic. He's playing as a substitute, but wow, this season has been very important. Guys, when someone says he did not sign here for 6 months, he's clearly aware of the situation, that people are confused of the Donyell Malen situation. People are confused why he signed him. And maybe, just maybe, there has been interest for Donyell Malen from other clubs who have thought, do you know what, if he can't get a game there, come for us. It's a very interesting quote, to say that he's a good professional. He's trying to learn. He's not here for a short time. He's here for a long time. But he's a wow substitute. Maybe the biggest insult as a footballer is being told you're an amazing sub. I don't know how you guys would feel, but if a manager pat me on the back and goes, do you know what? You're a really, really good sub. You're like the best sub in the game. In fact, you know what? That's your role. You're a great sub. I'm looking at him going, I'm not here to be a sub. I'm here to play football. I'll be really good at a 10-minute impact, 20-minute impact. Look at how many goals you score with 10 minutes. And I'll be going, yeah, so why am I not getting the start? Why are you not starting me? If I'm wow off the bench, is that all you see me as, a sub? So I think the big thing, and people in the chat will back this up, I've been saying this. There is not a world where I'll be surprised if Donyell Malen leaves in the summer. It wouldn't shock me. I wouldn't be like, I'm here going, yeah, can see why he wants to leave. Donyell Malen, not enough minutes. Being told that he's doing amazing off the bench, not including the Champions League squad. If an offer came on for him, would Villa actually cash on him? We'll have to wait and see. But I wonder if you push it. Now, obviously, it would be the worst piece of business ever if Donyell Malen left in the summer, because I'd go, what have we done? Why did we waste it in the January? And a lot of people will say to me, Josh is going nowhere. But did you think Jaden Philogene would go and last half a season? So I've got to ask you. Big up to my guy, Lee Collison. Need Minks for the physical games. Good, and he said that on Donyell Malen, good player, but he's not getting minutes for a reason. Exactly. Marlon's going nowhere. Look, chat. What's your instinct on Marlon? Does he get more of opportunity next season? Our Villa, is this guy actually ever going to get in our best 11, starting 11? Why is he not locking down the right-hand side? Why is Donyell Malen not locking down that right-hand side? Why is it the likes of Morgan Rogers, an unnatural right winger, is playing right wing? Is he even ahead of Bailey in the pecking order? Like, what is going on with Malen? And I'm willing to say this. I'm willing. I think AVSE85 sort of said how I feel. If we let Don Malen go and we go get a striker, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm probably going, that's the right decision. But it's absolutely baffling about Donyell Malen. It's a weird one, and we have to see what we do with that one. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts on Donyell Malen, people. But, yeah, there we go. There we go. But, yeah, Unai Emery has spoken. So, that's all the Villa stuff coming out today. If you're interested in anything outside of Villa, you've got Florian Wirtz. Oh, look what's just come through 13 seconds ago. I'll put it on the screen for you now about Marcus Rashford. Little Marcus Rashford update. It's understood that Marcus Rashford... Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, this is interesting. It is understood that Marcus Rashford would rather stay at Aston Villa than move abroad this summer. But his 350k a week wage is the main sticking point. Damn. Now, let's have a look at the source. Charlie Gordon, senior sports reporter for the Daily Express. So we're talking a third-tier choice. It's Daily Express. We're not talking a big tier here, but fair. Daily Express reporter. Okay. So we're not going to hold on to this journalist, but look, he'd rather stay at Aston Villa than move abroad. Doesn't want to take that risk. But look, this is going to be a mess with Rashford. I'll tell you why it's going to be a mess. We're going to have a situation where Marcus Rashford's going to go twerking for European clubs, Barcelona, one of the Milan sides, Juve. And basically, they're all going to turn around and go, no, Marcus, no, we can't afford you, Marcus. No, sorry, Marcus. No. And in the end, he's going to go, I don't really want to stay at Man United. I've really cut my ties there. I'll probably have to go back to Villa. And that's the attitude I don't want. I don't want Villa to be a third, fourth, fifth, sixth choice for Marcus Rashford. I don't want him to look at it and go, can't get a move abroad. Don't want to play at United. I like my time at Villa. I'm probably going to have to go there. And he's going to have to sulk a little bit and go, I'm going to have to take a wage cut. And he'll be pissed off that he's got to take a wage cut. Because ultimately, Rashford will be in limbo. If Marcus Rashford stays at Manchester United, he is in limbo. You know Ruben Amorim has ousted this guy out the squad. Don't care any report you ever see. There's no way back for Rashford at Man United. He's absolutely been ousted. Amorim and him have fallen out. There is no space for him. So he has to find a move. And Meeks is right. I can't assume it's his attitude. But for me, it is very clear that he has been twerking for a move for Barcelona. If you look at all the reports, Manchester United fan accounts as well have been talking about him to Barca. Why is that? If that falls through, we're not his first choice. And exactly what Lee said. For me, if you want to play for Villa, it's got to be a first choice. It's got to be, yeah, I'm coming to you. Sign me up. Morgan Rogers, yes, he wanted Villa. He wanted Villa badly when he knew we were interested in him. You know, that was massive. So let's keep on it. I want to know your thoughts on it. People are not having Rashford. They don't think he's justified. His wages justify his performance. Jonathan David is absolutely going to be a transfer rumour for all clubs again. This is the thing. It's so hard to find a good number 9. People like Jonathan David are always going to be linked. Gyökeres, Jonathan David, and Sesko. They're going to be the buzzwords this summer. Probably Watkins as well. I reckon they're going to be the 4 buzzwords. But yeah, I think Rashford comes back to us on loan. That way United pay part of the wages, says Andy. Andy, you're probably spot on as well in terms of talking sensible there. Basically, I will be absolutely shocked if I see bloody Marcus Rashford in a Man United shirt again. Bit like my Lewis Dobbin comment. I don't expect to see Rashford ever wear the Man United shirt again. I think Malin's made his replacement, but also as a backup striker, says Darwin. How's the playoff get on Stockport game? I haven't looked. I think they'll win it, Lee. Stockport will do, but I haven't looked at it. Obviously, Sunderland late limbs last night, wasn't it? That was sensational. Who do we all want to go up, Sunderland or Sheffield United? I'm expecting the majority of the chat to say Sunderland to see a new team come up. But yeah, Kamara potentially wants to sign the UCL over loyalty to Villa. Does that put him in the same camp? Well, listen, I don't think people will be happy if Kamara ditches us. I'll be honest. I don't think people can go, you know what, Kamara, you served us well. Thanks for your time. We'll be like, you're a great player. I wish you chose the Villa project. But I don't think we'll be going, have a good time away. I think we'll be frustrated at him, especially if we take the Tim Sherwood attitude of where we want to be. You know, we want players to say, I'm locked in. I'm here for the ride. I like a Tyrone Mings. This guy, for me, I keep saying it, Tyrone Mings epitomizes and is a body of everything I'd want a Villa player to be. Desperate to play for the club, wants the challenge, loves the setup, and can't see himself anywhere else. Mings has said that. If every player could be like that, we're laughing. And I really hope, I've got a feeling Morgan Rogers might be that guy as well. I think Morgan Rogers is going to have interest in someone. I think he's going to turn around and say, no, I'm here. This is my club. So there we go. But yeah, big up to everyone. I appreciate you out here. And thank you so much for tuning in. Listen, tomorrow we'll be going live to do a preview about the Tottenham game. Deji has yet to get back to me, but I'm holding on. We're also going to be showing you something that we're going to be doing in the watch along. Again, something a little bit different. If you like your fantasy football, I'll give you a quick preview on it. If you like your fantasy football, we're going to be doing something like that, but you choose 5 players from the game. You can choose Aston Villa or Tottenham players. You choose 5 players. They get points for minutes, tackles, goals, assists. That's all the criteria. And you basically, in the watch along, we're going to play along with that. You choose 5 players. There's a little bit of a different website you can use. 5 players, and you can put some money on it as well to try and win. So I would love it if some of you could do that in the watch along tomorrow. A little bit of fantasy football with a bit of money, and AVFTS League as such. I'll be loading my team with a load of Villa players. I ain't putting a dusty Spurs player. And if you have to put one dusty Spurs player in, it will be someone I'm not interested in. It will be on the bench. Because you can't have cheering. I won't be cheering on a single Spurs player on Friday. So yeah, a little bit of a fun thing for the watch along. But yeah, tomorrow is going to be the Spurs preview, all the stats, all the deals, all the records. We're going to do it. I can't wait. And hope you guys are excited for it as well. Been loving the chat today. Great numbers in here. If you haven't already, make sure you smash the like button for me. Really, really appreciate it. And I hope you're all good. I reckon we sell Rogers for big money end of next season, potentially, if he has the season that he could go on. Lee's in the pub for the Spurs game. Love it. Or another Premier League club sees him as a valuable asset and can accommodate the wages. It could lead to a new contract transfer. On the other hand, if no suitable offer comes through, he might stay put or consider options. No, I can't see him stand put, Dino, but appreciate that. But yeah, I do see him negotiating. Big up to the likes of everyone who's been in the chat today. Loads of great comments. Really enjoyed what you said. And as I said, if you want to leave any comments after this video about Rashford, Sherwood, Kesler Hayden, Tottenham, then feel free to do. I love reading the comments after the stream. Smash a like on the way out. I'm bouncing out of here. I've got to go get some dinner on. And I hope you guys are all good. And yeah, shout out to Lee as well for the super chat. I appreciate it, my guy. People, enjoy yourselves. See you tomorrow. Notification bell, get it on. Tottenham preview around 7:30 tomorrow. I'm out of here. Ta-da.